All right, let's start with the product of powers property. So if you have two things that you're multiplying together that have the same base, add those exponents. Let me show you what that looks like with an example here. We have y squared times y to the fifth, and you will add those exponents. So the answer is y to the seventh. Now, that's the shortcut. Here's the reason why that works. You have y squared, which is 2 y's multiplied together, being multiplied times y to the fifth, which is 5 more y's. Count those all up. That would be y to the seventh. If you don't remember rules, you can always do expansions like this, but the little rules are shortcuts, and it makes your life just a little bit easier. All right, we got another property coming at you. This is the power of a power. All right, if you have one thing, one base to an exponent, and you put that in parentheses and raise it to another exponent, you are powering this thing up. So you're going to multiply those exponents. Here is an example. So we're going to take b to the fifth, and we're going to raise that whole thing to the third power. So the shortcut is to multiply those exponents, and we get b to the 15th. And if you expand b to the fifth out, you can see how that's going to work. B to the fifth times b to the fifth times b to the fifth, because you're multiplying it times itself 3 times. 5 plus 5 plus 5 is 15. Okay, try this one. It's getting a little more complicated now. Here we have x squared raised to the fifth power, which would be x to the 2 times 5, and x cubed is just sitting here by itself. Now we finish this using that product property. We get x to the 10th times x cubed. Now we're going to add those together, and this is x to the 13th. This is really a good example of the difference in the two situations. One term, x squared raised to the fifth power, you multiply. But then when you have these two terms that have the same base, we end up adding their exponents. All right, last property, power of a product. Problems that look like this, where you have some stuff in parentheses and the whole thing is being raised to an exponent, raised to a power. It's like the distributive property. Everything inside the parentheses gets that power. So xy to the third power would be x cubed, y cubed. And if you're not sure and you don't remember, go ahead and expand it out. We're going to have 1, 2, 3 x's multiplied together, 1, 2, 3 y's multiplied together. Try this one, see how far you get. All right, everything getting raised to the third power in the first parentheses, but also in the second. So the -4 gets raised to the third power, the x gets raised to the third power, the y gets raised to the third power. The -2 gets raised to the third power, and the x squared gets raised to the third power. Let's just do these one thing at a time, just one at a time. I know it looks confusing when you look at it all together. Don't do that. It's just one thing at a time. And so we simplify what we have here. -4 times -4 times -4 is -64. Then we have an x cubed, and then we have a y cubed. -2 times -2 times -2 is -8. And then we have x squared to the third power, which would be x to the 6th power. Now we need to multiply the numbers together, and we need to take care of those x's. -64 times a -8 is going to be a 512. Then we do the x's. We're going to be adding those together, and the y is by itself. Finishing this out, we end up with 512, x to the 9th, y cubed. Hey, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.